You know the feeling, right? You try to save money. You tell yourself, okay, this is the month it's going to be different. And then life happens. The car makes a weird noise, a medical bill shows up out of nowhere, or just the cost of groceries seems to vaporize your paycheck. Well, today, we're going to break down exactly why saving that first $2,500 can feel absolutely, completely impossible.
And that quote, it just hits home, doesn't it? If that's how saving money feels to you, I get it. You're not alone. It is so frustrating when you feel like you're working hard, you're trying to do everything right, and you're still just getting nowhere. And this number, this is the reality check. This is 43%. That's the percentage of Americans who literally cannot cover a $1,000 emergency expense with their savings. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Nearly half the country is one unexpected bill away from a full-blown financial crisis.
So what is going on here? Is it some kind of massive personal failure? Are we all just bad with money? No, not at all. The truth is your own brain is kind of lying to you. And until you understand the psychology of why saving is so ridiculously hard, you're probably going to stay stuck right where you are.
So let's look at the hard beta for a second, because these numbers are pretty alarming. But here's the thing. If you've been struggling with this, what you're about to see just proves that you are squarely in the majority.
This chart right here, it tells a really fascinating story. On the one hand, you have 64% of people saying, yep, building my emergency savings is my #1 financial priority. But then, look at the other side. 49% had to dip into those very same savings last year just to make ends meet. It shows this huge gap between what we want to do and what real life forces us to do. And this just paints the picture even more clearly. A staggering 58% of people feel like saving is almost impossible. The median, that's the middle-of-the-road number, for emergency savings is just $500. And all of that leads to this last, kind of sad stat. Only 17% of Americans actually feel financially secure. So if you feel like you're just treading water, well, you're not alone.
Okay, so if it's not just you, what in the world is it? Well, the answer is actually inside our own heads. It's our psychology. It turns out our brains, they just aren't naturally wired for modern personal finance. Let's break down the two biggest mental traps that trip us up.
And this quote really gets to the heart of it. The way our brain is wired, for immediate survival, makes saving money one of the most unnatural things we could possibly do. Its instincts are ancient, and they are constantly working against our modern financial goals.
So, trap number 1 is something called loss aversion. Think about it. Every time you move money into a savings account, your brain doesn't see it as a smart move for your future. Nope. It registers it as a loss. It's money leaving your checking account that you can't spend right now. And that feeling of loss, it actually feels painful.
And this just shows you how powerful that feeling is. Study after study has shown that losing $100 feels twice as bad as gaining $100 feels good. So the very real pain of setting money aside today is way more intense than some vague, abstract pleasure of having it later. And that's not a character flaw, that's just neuroscience.
And then there's trap number 2, present bias. Your brain is hardwired to care way more about today's comfort than tomorrow's safety. So when you're deciding between, say, saving $20 or ordering takeout, your brain sees a choice between a real, immediate pleasure, pizza, and some fuzzy, abstract idea of future security. Guess which one wins almost every single time? So with all that working against us, why are we so focused on this $2,500 number? Because hitting this first major milestone isn't really about the money itself. It's about what that money gives you. It's about a fundamental shift in your entire financial reality.
This cable says everything. Without savings, a surprise car repair is a crisis. A trip to the ER means you're going into debt. Life is just filled with this low-level, constant anxiety. But with $2,500 in the bank, those same events just become inconveniences. Yeah, they're still annoying, but they don't completely derail your life. What you're really buying yourself is breathing room.
So how do we actually do this? How do we trick a brain that seems designed to fail at saving money? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple, and it is incredibly effective. We build a system that runs on automation. This is the secret weapon, right here. Automation lets you bypass those psychological traps we just talked about. You don't feel the pain of loss aversion if you never even see the money to begin with. And you don't have to wrestle with present bias if the choice is already made for you automatically before you even have a chance to spend it.
And here is the most effective way to do it. You set up an automatic transfer of $50 per week. Now, why weekly? Because psychologically, a small weekly transfer just feels like less of a hit than one big, painful monthly one. It's the same amount of money, but it's a little trick we can play on our brains so it feels less painful.
And look, if you're hearing $50 a week and thinking, no way, that is totally okay, start with 20. Even that small amount adds up to nearly $1,000 in a year. The crucial point here is to start where you are, not where you think you should be. The goal is just to build the habit.
All right, enough talk. Let's get into the action plan. Here is your exact step-by-step plan to get started. You can absolutely do this, and you can start this week.
Okay, step 1. Open a separate savings account, maybe at a different bank, to make it a little harder to just pull money out. Step 2. Set up that weekly automation we talked about. 20, 30, 50 bucks, whatever it is, just start. 3. Do a simple audit. For 2 weeks, track your subscriptions and cut just one. 4. Make your progress visible. Put a little chart on your fridge. And 5, and this is important, when you hit $500, celebrate. You are officially ahead of the median American.
And here is the best part. Once you fight through all those brain traps and save that first $2,500, the next $2,500 is so much easier. It's not because your income magically changed, it's because you changed. You've proven to yourself that it's possible, and you've built the saving muscle.
So let's just circle back for a second. Remember where we started? This number. 43% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency.
And then there was this one. 58% of people feel that saving is almost impossible right now.
Which leaves just this small group, only 17%, who actually feel financially secure. Those are the numbers. The path to changing which group you belong to doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It starts today with one small automated step. So the only question left is, which group are you going to be in?